With the first pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Kyler Murray, quarterback, Oklahoma.
Easily the best quarterback in the class. He has it all: pocket passing skills, mobility, accuracy, and reading defenses. Murray, in Kingsbury's offense, projects to be a great starting quarterback for the next decade. However, I believe so does Josh Rosen. Rosen showed enough in year one for me to give him a leash that lasts at least 2 years. But after 1 year, absolutely not. The only quarterback as young as Rosen to have started as many games as he did was Brett Favre, and Brett Favre was horrible in his rookie year. Too bad that the Atlanta Falcons traded him to the Green Bay Packers after only 1 year. Sound familiar?
Second pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Nick Bosa, defensive end, Ohio State.
Great pick. The pass rush I need in January for the 49ers goes through strength by April. Bosa is a combination of need and talent. I would have taken Quinnen Williams, who in my opinion has no major flaws as a prospect, but Bosa is still a great talent. He uses his strength, power, and bend to terrify opposing offensive linemen and quarterbacks. Bosa, though, is not the most agile defensive end and does struggle against tackles with long arms. However, paired with Dee Ford, Bosa will be a good pass rusher for years to come.
With the third pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Quinnen Williams, nose tackle, Alabama.
Seems like every year that incredible defensive talent slips to the Jets. In 2015 it was Leonard Williams, 2017 it was Jamal Adams, and this year it was Quinnen Williams. Williams is one of the highest floors and ceilings in this draft. He's the best defensive tackle prospect since Aaron Donald, and I can say that confidently. Outstanding selection for the Jets, and in my opinion, the best prospect in the draft.
With the fourth pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Oakland Raiders select Clelin Ferrell, defensive end, Clemson.
What the heck happened here? Even the biggest Ferrell shooters had him as a mid-first round pick. First of all, I just cannot see how Ferrell could be better than Josh Allen, Ed Oliver, or Devin White. In the top 5 of the draft, a team should get an all-pro type talent, of which all the aforementioned are. This is not to say that Allen, White, and Oliver will all become all-pros, but they definitely have the potential to. I straight up do not see that in Ferrell. He could be a Pro Bowl player for the next decade, but he does not have the talent to be the best in his position. Second, picking for character is just dumb. Third, if you're picking for character, which Abrams, Ferrell, and Jacobs, the Raiders' first 3 first-round picks are, why trade for Antonio Brown and sign Vontaze Perfect?
With the 5th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Devin White, linebacker, LSU.
Excellent selection for the Bucs. White is a 99th percentile athlete and a top 5 talent. He needs to improve in picking up blocks, but at this pick, the upside is just too good. Tampa Bay needed linebackers, and after Devin Bush, there was a huge drop-off of them in this draft, with the next linebacker being a 4th-round talent. I'm sure White will be great in Tampa Bay, but had he gone to Denver with Vic Fangio, he would have been my early pick for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Great combination of need and talent for Tampa.
With the 6th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Daniel Jones, quarterback, Duke.
Even though it is a reach, I'm not as against this pick as most, especially the New York media are. Sure, I would have definitely taken Haskins, or if defense was on my mind, I would have gone with Ed Oliver or Josh Allen, but I believe Daniel Jones has an okay chance of becoming an Eli Manning-esque player. Would I put my money on it? No, but I do believe that many would have had the same answer for Baker Mayfield last year. What I do have an overall problem with, though, is the Giants' overall plan, which is a separate topic.
NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Josh Allen, defensive end, Kentucky.
I'm not the biggest fan of Josh Allen, but this is right about where he should go based off of just how immense his upside is. To me, Allen will at least be great in coverage, but I just do not believe that he has the strength or the skill set of moves to be as good as a pass rusher. He is not strong as the elite pass rushers of today, and he used primarily only 2 moves in college. Granted, he executed those moves incredibly well, but he has a lot to learn when he goes up against a tackle who can match his speed along the edge. I would have personally taken Ed Oliver, but Allen is good too.
With the 8th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select T.J. Hockenson, tight end, Iowa.
I understand that the Lions are trying to become the Patriots of the Midwest, and this is their Gronk, but to a certain point they're just kidding themselves. Hockenson will at the least be an above-average tight end with superior blocking skills. He's probably the most blocking tight end to come out of college for a while, which will greatly add Matt Patricia's run-at-the-ball attitude and Kerryon Johnson. But I just do not see how in the world he is a better pick than Ed Oliver. The only way that Hockenson can change that is if he turns into a Travis Kelce level player. And based off recent history of top 10 tight ends, the chances of that are slim.
With the 9th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Ed Oliver, defensive tackle, Houston.
That Ed Oliver slipped to pick 9 is an abomination for the NFL. Picking Clelin Ferrell over him just 5 picks later is another level of idiocy. Oliver should be considered in the same tier as Nick Bosa and Quinnen Williams. He's just that good. The Bills may have just gotten the steal of the draft right here. The Buffalo defense, which was quietly the second best in the NFL last year in terms of DVOA, will be a no dark horse anymore.
With the 10th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Devin Bush, linebacker, Michigan.
The Steelers have been looking for their Ryan Shazier replacement for almost 2 years now to no avail. Devin Bush can absolutely return the Steelers' defense to what it was in September and October of 2017. With the Steelers giving up their first, second, and third round picks just to move up 10 spots in the first round is not exactly great value. Love the player, but not at this price.
The 11th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Jonah Williams, tackle, Alabama.
Good pick for the Bengals. Offensive line is hard to fix, and this pick solidifies their 2-year offensive line rebuild. A couple years ago, they had one of the worst in the leagues. Now their line is at the worst, better than average. I would have taken Christian Wilkins, whom I believe to be one of the best defensive talents in this draft, but the Bengals will definitely be content with Williams as their starting offensive tackle for the next decade.
The 12th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select Rashawn Gary, linebacker, Michigan.
I'm much higher than most on Gary. He was super unlucky in college, as he would always screw up the play, but someone else would get the credit for it, a sack or a tackle. He has all the physical tools to be a great defensive end in the NFL. A risky pick for the Packers that I believe will pay big dividends down the road. Green Bay now has a sneaky good defense, between all their free agent pickups and first-round draft picks from previous years.
With the 13th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select Christian Wilkins, defensive tackle, Clemson.
Because of its insane defensive depth, The 2019 NFL Draft allowed the Dolphins to get one of the best interior linemen in the draft at the 13th pick. It's insane that a talent like Wilkins fell to the Dolphins. Miami now fixes their league worst run defense with just one pick. That's just how confident I am in Wilkins.
With the 14th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Chris Lindstrom, guard, Boston College.
As I've said before, offensive line is hard to fix. This may have been a bit of a reach, but I have no major problems with the Falcons selecting Lindstrom.
With the 15th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Washington Redskins select Dwayne Haskins, quarterback, Ohio State.
A likely franchise quarterback slips to pick 15. This is a weird draft. Haskins is not perfect, and I would still prefer to send a second-round pick for Josh Rosen, but I still believe that he has the arm talent and leadership to be the face of the franchise for the Redskins for the next decade.
The 16th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Brian Burns, defensive end, Florida State.
I think Burns is one of the most underrated prospects in this draft. He has the potential to be a perennial Pro Bowler, yet a very high floor. It's very rare to find those types of players at this stage in the draft. Great pick by the Panthers.
With the 17th pick of the 2019 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Dexter Lawrence, defensive tackle, Clemson.
Dexter Lawrence is your definition of a hog molly on the defensive line. He and Dalvin Tomlinson now form a very underrated Giants run-stuffing defense. I'm just not sure I would trade a generational talent at wide receiver for him.
With the 18th pick in the 2019 Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select Garrett Bradbury, center, North Carolina State.
This is a great scheme fit. I would argue that the most important piece of a Gary Kubiak-led zone-run offense is a mobile center. Bradbury will be such starter. He possesses a 4.92 40 time and a 7.413 cone drill. This pick solidifies the Vikings' interior offensive line.
With the 19th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Jeffrey Simmons, defensive tackle, Mississippi State.
The Titans have made many win-now moves. They acquired Adam Humphries in free agency, signed Cameron Wake, Kenny Vaccaro, and Roger Saffold also. This pick is their way of saying, we're not all in on this year, and we're planning for years in the future. Had Simmons not torn his ACL, he would have been selected in at most the top 8 of the draft. Outstanding value for the Titans.
Simmons.
With the 20th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select Noah Fant, tight end, Iowa.
I simply just do not understand this pick. I'm already not a fan of Fant. He just reminds me too much of Eric Ebron, an athletic tight end who has lapses in concentration and is a horrific blocker, for me to spend a top 20 pick on him, especially when there are about 25 other prospects whom I believe are better. Secondly, tight end is just not as important as a cornerstone on the defense, of which there are potentially many at that pick. To name a few, Jerry Tillery, Darnell Savage, or some really solid corners in Byron Murphy, Rod Yassin, and DeAndre Baker.
And with the 21st pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select Darnell Savage, defensive back, Maryland.
Savage is a rangy safety with skills in the run game, exactly the player that Packers defensive coordinator Mike Pettin covets in his scheme. I also want to highlight that the Packers defense is a very under-the-radar talented group of players, that they will be a top 10 defense this year.
With the 22nd pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Andre Dillard, tackle, Washington State.
Howie Roseman is a master team builder. Dillard probably won't even play this year, but he is planning for the future when eventually Jason Peters retires. Dillard should not have slipped this far in the draft, and this is a steal.
With the 23rd pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Titus Howard, tackle, Alabama State.
I get that the Texans desperately need offensive line help, and that the Eagles had just leapfrogged them to take the man they probably wanted. But this is a disgusting reach. Howard is a second-round tackle at best, and I personally would have taken about 15 other prospects ahead of him. The best player available draft strategy is proven to be the best for building a great team, and the Texans clearly don't understand that.
The 24th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Oakland Raiders select Josh Jacobs, running back, Alabama.
As a draft strategy, I generally believe that drafting a running back in the first round is not good value. The chances of getting a solid running back in day 2 of the draft or day 3 are so much higher than that of other positions. This draft grade is no indictment on Jacobs, but rather on the Raiders' general drafting strategy.
With the 25th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Marquise Brown.
There it is. There we go.
Wide receiver, Oklahoma.
Though Brown carries risk as a receiver at only 160 pounds, I still believe he has a good chance to turn into a Deshaun Jackson-esque deep threat. The problem, though, is the fit. Lamar Jackson has a mediocre deep ball and struggles with throws along the boundary, 2 of Brown's greatest qualities. Good player, but a bad fit.
And with the 26th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Washington Redskins select Montez Sweat, linebacker, Mississippi State.
I still find it crazy that a player of Sweat's potential as a speed rusher with great skills and coverage slipped to the 26th pick of the draft just because of a misdiagnosed heart issue. Excellent pick by the Redskins.
With the 27th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Oakland Raiders select Jonathan Abram, defensive back, Mississippi State.
Abrams is a solid slot cornerback with great blitzing skills. I would have taken Jerry Tillery, but Abrams here is good too.
With the 28th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Jerry Tillery, defensive tackle, Notre Dame.
Love the pick. Jerry Tillery is a bona fide hog molly on the defensive line with additional ability in pass rushing. The Chargers' defense now is stacked.
With the 29th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select L.J. Collier, defensive end, TCU.
Collier is basically the Seahawks' chief replacement for Frank Clark, who was shipped to the Chiefs a few days earlier. To me, Collier does not have enough upside to be picked with the cornerbacks of this draft, but he will still be a good passer.
With the 30th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select DeAndre Baker, defensive back, Georgia.
I'm a fan of Baker. He has the potential to be a great lockdown quarterback for the next decade, and that's good for a pick at 30 in the NFL Draft. The Giants' core of cornerbacks is now looking pretty good, with Sam Beal coming back from his ACL tear, Baker, Janoris Jenkins, and Julian Love, the Giants' 4th-round selection.
With the 31st pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Caleb McGarry, tackle, Washington.
Wow, the Falcons really are all in on their offensive line. I don't like the value, though, of trading back into the first round, but McGarry will be okay. With the addition of McGarry, the Falcons' offensive line should be set for the next 5 years. Again, I would have preferred a selection on defense, especially cornerback, but a fine pick. With
the 32nd pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots select N'Keal Harry, wide receiver, Arizona State.
I am a huge fan of Harry. He has the tools and the baseline to be a successful slot wide receiver. And considering the Patriots' history of developing slot wide receivers, as in Wes Welker and Julian Edelman, I believe Harry to be an almost guaranteed hit.
To all our fans here in Nashville, over 200,000 people attended tonight.
Wow.
Thank you for your passion. We'll see you all tomorrow night.